So you want to completely transform how you approach personal and professional success? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving straight into the core framework of a legendary guide that has literally shifted the mindsets of millions. We're tossing out the superficial hacks and temporary tricks, because we are getting to the bedrock of what actually makes people effective in every single area of their lives.
In this explainer, we're boiling down the absolute essentials of Stephen R. Covey's masterpiece, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. We're going to take you step by step from foundational, life-altering mindset shifts all the way to lasting interpersonal success. Get ready, because this isn't just about absorbing information. It's about fundamentally rewiring how you operate on a daily basis.
Ever find yourself frustrated by failed diets, disloyal employees, or maybe a marriage that just feels kind of flat? Look, if you ever feel like you're constantly busy, just running on a treadmill but not making any real difference, you are definitely not alone. Covey points out that we constantly rely on quick fixes, social band-aids and aspirins, but those temporary tactics, they simply aren't the answer for the chronic underlying problems that keep holding us back.
Here's the thing. To achieve quantum leaps in our lives, we have to stop hacking at the leaves of our behavior and strike directly at the root. We can't just try to force a change in what we do. We've got to fundamentally change how we see the world. Think about it. How often do you try to fix a symptom without ever actually diagnosing the disease?
To get us from dependence to true interdependence, here's our roadmap. First, the power of paradigms. Second, private victory, achieving independence. Third, public victory, interdependent success. And finally, renewal, sharpening the saw.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the power of paradigms, shifting your perspective. This is all about the fundamental mental maps that dictate our reality. Think about how much society pushes what Covey calls the personality ethic. For decades, it's been all about public image, quick fix techniques, and frankly, manipulation. It's kind of like wearing a mask. But Covey argues we desperately need to return to the character ethic. This relies on deep roots like integrity, humility, and the golden rule. Those superficial techniques, they only ever work long-term if they're rooted in actual basic goodness.
Which brings us to a foundational concept. A paradigm is simply your mental map of how things are. Imagine you want to navigate Chicago, but you're accidentally given a map of Detroit. You can improve your attitude, sure. You can try driving much faster, but with the wrong map, you're just going to get incredibly lost much faster. A paradigm shift is that powerful aha moment when you finally swap the wrong map for the right one.
Okay, so true effectiveness lies in nurturing the asset that actually produces the results, not just obsessing over the results themselves. Think of the old fable of the goose that laid the golden eggs. Production is the golden egg. Production capability is the health of the goose. If you push your team for more sales, the eggs, but completely neglect their well-being, the goose, you're eventually going to burn them out and lose everything. Highly effective people maintain a perfect balance here.
Moving right along to Section 2, Private Victory, Achieving Independence. Because mastering yourself absolutely must precede mastering relationships with others. It's an inside-out approach.
To get there, you've got 3 sequential steps, your private victories. Habit 1, be proactive. This means realizing you are the programmer. You are entirely responsible for your choices, not your circumstances. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. That's writing the program, having a crystal clear personal mission statement before you act. And habit 3, put first things first. That's running the program through relentless daily self-discipline.
Now, this time matrix, it is an absolute game changer for habit 3. Look, most of us get trapped reacting to the urgent, putting out daily fires in quadrant I, or getting sidetracked by those useless pinging phone interruptions in quadrant 3. But highly effective people ruthlessly eliminate those distractions. They spend their time right there in quadrant 2, focusing on what is important but not urgent. That is where deep relationship building, long-range planning, and real substantial growth actually happen.
All right, Section 3, Public Victory, Interdependent Success. Now that we've mastered ourselves, we're ready to combine our talents with others in the public arena.
As this quote perfectly captures, there can be no friendship without confidence, and no confidence without integrity. You simply cannot use superficial charm or clever communication hacks to fake the foundation of trust needed for true collaboration. People see right through it. Real trust only comes from the deep character you painstakingly built during those private victories.
So, when we interact, most of us are literally scripted from childhood to think win-lose. Like, if I get the promotion, you don't. Or maybe you're stuck in lose-win, where you just constantly cave to keep the peace. But to succeed together, we've got to abandon that zero-sum competition. We need to adopt the abundance mentality of win-win, constantly seeking mutual benefit. And hey, if we truly can't find a solution that helps us both, we need the courage to walk away and say win-win or no deal.
This is huge for habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. You absolutely must follow this exact sequence to influence anyone, whether you're pitching a project to your boss or resolving a fight with your spouse. First is ethos, your personal credibility. Second is pathos, the empathic side, showing you actually get their feelings. Finally, logos, your logic. Most people jump straight to logic and argue the facts, completely skipping character and empathy. And that is exactly why their message fails to land.
And when you actually combine those win-win motives with deeply empathetic communication, you hit habit 6, synergize. This is the miraculous climax of interdependent success. We aren't just compromising to some boring, watered-down middle ground here. We're creating entirely new, vastly better alternatives together. By actively valuing the psychological and emotional differences in others, the fundamental math literally changes. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2 anymore, it equals 3 or 5 or 100.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 4, Renewal, Sharpening the Saw. This is the habit that circles and sustains all the others by preserving your absolute greatest asset, you.
This is habit 7, and think about it. If you are too busy sawing away at a tree to step back and sharpen the blade, you are going to completely burn out. You must proactively dedicate time every single day to renew yourself across 4 dimensions. You've got to tend to your physical health, find spiritual peace, engage in mental stimulation, and nurture your social and emotional connections. Doing this creates an upward spiral of continuous growth. This daily private victory is the essential fuel that guarantees you actually have the energy to live out all the other habits.
And there you have it, your roadmap to true, principle-centered effectiveness. So ask yourself today, are you still just hacking away at the leaves of your life, or are you finally ready to strike at the root and change your paradigm forever? If you enjoyed this, subscribe to In 8 Minutes and never miss what matters.